Welcome back to the home of original sports perspective. From our couch to yours, this is your host, Jermaine Lockett, bringing you another banger. Let's talk about y'all today. Yesterday, the Clowns, they signed Jadeveon Clowney to a 1-year, $10 million contract. I ain't going to get into the specifics of it, but I need to get into the specifics of Ravens fans. Y'all were going off. You're upset. You disgruntled about signing a guy who's only going to be healthy for 3 games. 3 to 5 games, this is what I give him. But there's so many different types of Ravens fans. I can't put you all in one different pot. There are folks who are, they just, you have your types with the off with the head because they want to fire Harbaugh. They want to fire DeCosta. And they want to fire Greg Roman just randomly because of yesterday.
How dare you! Off with his head!
I'm like, wait, no, hold up. What did DeCosta... what did Greg Roman, what did John Harbaugh have to do with Clowney signing with the Browns? Sure, they might have had some type of input on what Clowney could bring to the organization, health issues, and then high caliber player, whatever, weighing the pros and cons. But I'm pretty sure Greg Roman had nothing to do with that, and y'all just want to just go off on your rants and grab your pitchforks for no reason. I am so happy that you all are not running the Baltimore Ravens because you'd be back to doing what you're currently doing right now in about a week because you'd be fired because you are impulsive, Ravens Nation. You want what you want and you want it now. There's another type. There's the realists. There are some out there who see exactly what the Ravens need and what is available, what's possible. And some of y'all ain't it. Y'all just ain't got it. Y'all think that we got about $30 or $40 million in cap space and can make it happen and can sign a Kenny Galladay with no problem. When that's not the real case. We know that there's the realists out there who see, hey, they talk to the capologists and they see that, okay, there's $10 million on hold over here. Funds are limited and we need to make smart choices. So appreciate y'all realists. For those other ones who are maybe don't see things as they should be, go ahead and grab them, help them get out of panic mode, put them in a safe space and let them know, hey, everything is going to be okay. And then you have your optimists. Those optimists, they're hilarious. I'll be honest. Sometimes I get caught up between the realist and the optimist mode a little bit because I believe in guys like Miles Boykin. I'm not going to go out there and say something crazy like the regular optimist that Miles Boykin's going to have 1,000 yards receiving or something along those lines. Let's just face it. He's got some things he needs to work on, and they're going to help him. You know, Keith Williams is going to help him improve as a receiver. But right now, you cannot say, hey, don't come out the gate with this optimism saying this dude's going to have 1,000-yard season because that's just not what Baltimore does. That's not the formula. You know, with the Patriots, they succeeded off of a formula that did not include the outside wide receiver. Baltimore is doing something similar right now because they're using interior wide receivers, guys in the slots, and the tight ends. And they're having success. So, sorry, optimistic folks, Boykin is not going to be that dude. And then there is the folks who just come out of nowhere with the random stuff as soon as a headline like Clowney signing with the Browns comes out. They just pop out of nowhere just to say it because they haters and they was on the Tom Flacco bandwagon hoping that he'd come to Baltimore to continue a Flacco type era. Thank goodness that's over. No disrespect, man, I love the Flacco, but hey, towards the end, hey, I was glad that Lamar was there to continue on the legacy here. They just pop out of nowhere anyway. They say Lamar can't throw anyway, so why are y'all tripping? Like, are you really a Ravens fan? Like, are you really with us? Are you against us? Because I think some of y'all are closet Steelers fans, like Mike Preston for the Baltimore Sun. I think he's a closet Steelers fan, straight up, because he hates on the Ravens more than anything. But, this narrative is old. Y'all need to stop it. I mean, this guy led the league in passing touchdowns. Passing touchdowns for a guy that can't throw in 2019. So he can't throw still? Y'all still on that same narrative? Stop it. Stop it. Look at me. Say it with me. I will not make fun of Lamar anymore. Okay. Now that we have discussed these different types of Ravens fans, the off with your heads, the optimistic, the realists, let's go ahead and get into what I really want to talk to you about today, which was the shopping list. May 3rd. May 3rd is a pretty big day because that is the day that the Ravens can actually go after players without getting hit with the possibility of losing compensatory picks. And there are a lot of different players out there. If you just take a short look, and I'll just go through the list real quick because I don't want to hold y'all too long today. You know, as the Baptist preacher say, I ain't going to hold y'all long today. We're going to get in. We're going to get out of here. That's what we're going to do, y'all. All right. Let me get about that southern voice or whatever. Let me get back into my regular here. All right, as far as the shopping list goes, I had to write these down because I don't remember all of them, folks, but I do remember a couple things about them. One guy I was pumped about when I heard was on the free agency list was Trey Boston. This guy is 6'1", 205 pounds. He's a solid safety, a free safety. We're not looking at strong safeties, but he did have 95 tackles in 2020, and he had 4 pass deflections with 1 interception. He started all 16 games. For a guy that's 29 years old, anybody that's starting all 16 games consistently, hey, that's a plus. Availability sometimes is your best skill. And he has a pretty darn good skill in those tackles. I mean, you're looking at a guy who had 95 tackles for the Carolina Panthers in 2020. Y'all know we still got to stop King Henry. And if this guy is on the field next to Elliott, he will be able to help bring down that King. Still got to stop him. He's always going to be there, or he's going to be there for the next few years. And we need to make sure we have the firepower and the intelligence to stop folks on defense. Next. Now we talked about Trey Boston is Melvin Ingram. Sure, this is one of the more flashy names, and I think as soon as May 3rd hits, his stock is going to go probably through the roof because of his ability on the field. He was a Pro Bowler from 2017 to 2019. Availability might be an issue. Like I said, with Trey Boston, availability was one of his strengths. But with Ingram, it is slightly an issue because he missed 9 games last season due to injury. And then you have, let's move forward into Justin Houston. So Houston, he's with Indy. He's currently in-house with the Ravens on a visit. I don't know if the visit is over or not, but it's really, really hush-hush. And I think they're probably doing some type of behind-the-scenes handshake deal saying, hey, dude, you signing with us on the 3rd or what? I don't know. Houston might say, hey, look, I want to get signed now because I'm weighing offers. I might just go back to Indy. Who knows? My thoughts, he might go back to Indy. And if he does, okay, that's cool. He had, 9 sacks or 8 sacks and 2 safeties in 2020. And, he's 32 years old. He brings that veteran leadership. And the Ravens, I think they won a Super Bowl with a pretty old roster. And bringing some of those veterans in there to train up some of these young bucks who are going to be drafted. Some are going to be undrafted free agents because let's just face it, there's going to be a lot of people competing in camp. And I think that's what Harbaugh's looking for, is for that competition there. Justin Houston can help out with that. And he can bring that leadership and experience on deck and, get his sacks on as well when it comes to joining the Ravens. So hopefully, hey, if it works out, cool. If it doesn't, don't turn into the off with your head type people. Let's go. Daggone. Off with your head, fans. And then we have KJ Wright. KJ Wright is the next guy. I have been a fan of this guy throughout his career since he was drafted. I think he's one of the better pass defenders as far as outside linebackers in the league. He had 10 passes defense last season with 1 interception and 2 sacks in 2020. He might be a little disgruntled because the Seahawks want a discount. They want that discount because, look, he was owed like $10 million, so they released him, and so they're looking for that special number to bring him back at. And he's like, no, I want my monies. I'm old now. I need my monies. Baltimore might say, hey, $6 million. Somebody else might say $7 million. DeCosta and Harbaugh might come to the table again and say, all right, here's 6.5, and how would you like to work towards a championship? Because that's what Baltimore's window is right now. Let's get this championship before Lamar gets that next contract. And then you have Rick Wagner. This guy has actually been here for. He's been a Raven for a stint. He served here previously before he went to the Lions and then went to the Packers. This is your prototypical 6'6", 315-pound tackle. He's got 34-inch arms. I don't know if you looked at the previous video, but go ahead and take a look at it right here. That previous video talks about Creed Humphrey. And Creed is going to be an excellent player in the NFL, but he has short arms. He's got the 32-inch arms. Rick Wagner's got the 34-inch, which is the NFL average. Like I say, he's a prototypical type tackle. He'll do well when Baltimore decides to trade Orlando Brown Jr. Zeus goes somewhere else. Zeus Jr., excuse me. He goes somewhere else, and Rick Wagner could step in easily and fill that void and do it for cheap. That's what I'm talking about. Get it for the low. Next is Malik Hooker out of Indy. I loved this guy. I wanted this guy. Like I said, I'm still married. I wanted this dude back in, I want to say 2017, but we drafted this amazing corner named Marlon Humphrey. Like I said, the GMs know better what is better for the organization than we do when it comes to draft picks, especially because I thought for sure Malik Hooker would be that guy to come in here and be the next Ed Reed. But it didn't happen for him in Indy. He came out hot out the gates. He had 3 interceptions. But then he tore his ACL. He comes back, doesn't have the same production. They reject his his 5th year option, and then sends him back into the free agency. And now he's looking for a change of scenery. I think that change of scenery could be Baltimore. He could come here and do things big. I mean, he coming out the gates with those 3 interceptions, that showed he had the instincts and the intelligence to get it done. He was just recovering and didn't get a chance to shine like he did before because he was still adjusting to his rehabilitated knee. I think he's got an opportunity to do something great if Baltimore signs him here. Sign him up, let him compete. If he can beat out, Clark for the job, okay, cool. Hopefully he works on studying that playbook because we know Clark has that intelligence, and that's why he's on the field. They say he's cerebral. He's young, he's fast, he's a playmaker, just needing that change of scenery. And now let's move on to Tyler Eifert. Eifert, oh my goodness. This guy, when it came to fantasy, when he was on the field, he was lighting it up. Every single time I'd face Eifert, somebody was just killing me with Eifert. He was a Pro Bowler in 2015, but health issues in 2016, 2017, 2018, they just continued to linger to where he was missing games. He was getting single-digit games per season that he was healthy for. But the last 2 years, he's been solid. As far as 2019, 2020, he's only missed one game. Missed one game out of that time frame. So I think if Baltimore were able to pick up this guy and add him to the Mark Andrews, add him to the Nick Boyle, making that trio again, oh man, you talking about Baltimore being extremely dangerous with this type of tight end who's a highlight reel. And he made Andy Dalton, he saved his career for a couple of extra years because of what Andy Dalton was able to find in him when he couldn't find A.J. Green, when he couldn't find Boyd. This guy was it. So trust me, Tyler Eifert is that dude to bring into Baltimore. For the low, like I said, after the 3rd of May, things should go on sale. It should look great. But that is all I have for you today. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell because we'll continue to bring you that original sports perspective from our couch to yours. This is Jermaine Lockett with the Couch Writer Report. Have a great evening.